You're about to watch a free clip of Old School. If you like it, wait till you see the whole episode. All the episodes in their entirety are available for members. Become a member by going to tyt.com/join. All right, welcome to Old School. Cenk Uygur, Michael Schur, Mark Thompson. It's Old School, so we put on our mic and eat as we enter the show.
And finish our bagel.
I didn't hear a standby or anything.
No, it's okay. It's Old School. So,
does that mean I can take another bite?
Yes, it does mean that. So first of all, of course, I have to thank our sponsor, shoptyt.com. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you can go to shoptyt.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'll tell you guys about that in a second. I don't want you to get caught off guard. There's also some sort of Young Turks t-shirts down there somewhere. Okay, just look down there. Okay. So we changed Old School a little bit. So this is like the third one, I think. That
nobody told us this.
I know that the first half an hour is on YouTube. Okay.
Oh.
Okay, and then the whole show is for members. tyt.com/join to become a member, get the whole show. Now, as usual, the members get to watch this live, and a bunch of them are watching now, and
right.
we'll get their tweets and stuff like that, right?
Right.
So,
this explains something though, because I got a text message sent to me with a link to you and Ben on a recent Old School episode. Maybe it was just last week.
Yeah.
And I'm looking, and I'm thinking, well, they must have said something, or was there a subject matter that they thought maybe I'd be interested in? Because it's going on and on. It's just you guys hanging out doing Old School, and for 30 minutes. And I keep watching stupidly because I think something's going to happen, and nothing does. And I send back a text.
That's because it's Old School. Nothing happens.
What? And she said, no. I just said I've never seen this. The Young Turks just kind of hanging out talking. And she said I really like it. It's Old School. If you're a member, you would know this, and you'd be seeing it all the time. But she just broke through with the YouTube.
I got a text from the president today. Same thing. Are you watching? It was a link to an Old School. I wasn't on it. I watched for a half hour.
So I've now said this a couple of times for the first couple, as we warm people up to, like, if they have never seen Old School. Mark's absolutely right. Nothing happens. Okay, so if you're waiting for something to happen, not going to happen. Okay, although monumentally important things are decided, like what is the most un-American of the seasons.
Right.
Okay, that was decided on an earlier Old School episode. Become a member and check out that one. Okay, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying. Okay, and last week, we had decided something equally important. Oh, I never got the poll results. If Irina's still here, it'd be great to get the poll results from last week. Because Ben and I both talked about huge victories that we had. He had lost his earpiece.
Yes.
And then 48 hours later found it in a park.
This is the one she sent me, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, and what was yours again?
I have an earpiece story, a lost earpiece story that happened to me last week.
But
of course you do, because it's Old School. This is Old
crazy.
School.
And I have a lost recovery story that tops everything you talked about in Old School.
Good. Now we're having fun.
So it's part two. Maybe
okay, so we're gonna do part two. Yeah. Michael versus Mark on the bigger
No,
victory.
I'm not going to compete with that. Mine's just a lost earpiece story.
Okay, got you. All right, but so
what was yours though? I remember Ben found his 2 days later in the same spot.
And serendipitously, when he wasn't even looking for it.
Right.
Well, you know what? We'll do a quick poll here without going into the whole story again. I, on the other hand, knew I had lost a bracelet when I was in college. I had gone to rugby practice, and it had fallen somewhere, and it was a long way from my dorm, and I traced it all the way back. This detail I think I forgot to add last time. As the sun is setting, and I'm looking at the sidewalk trying to find it, and for like 20 minutes, and I found it.
Right.
And I found it. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the bigger victory? Well, the one you weren't expecting, or the one you worked hard for? Ben was adamant. Well, you worked hard for it. That's not as big a victory. I happen to run into it.
I disagree. The harder you work, the more reward you have with that, I think.
I think it has nothing to do with the amount of work that you put in. I think it has to do just with with other factors like length of time and likelihood that it'll be recovered. So that's why I gave the nod to Ben on.
So you're voting Ben, you're voting Cenk.
Well, I'm voting Cenk, but here's why I'm gonna pull a Jeff Flake on this vote for a second.
Oh no!
I can picture that bracelet, and in my mind, I know what that bracelet looks like. Maybe I'm wrong, but I can picture that bracelet back in the 80s and what it looked like. So I think it's actually, it would have been better if you hadn't found it.
Wow. Yeah,
You're voting for me.
I voted for you.
But wish I hadn't.
But wish you hadn't found it because it was a gold that had loops and it was.
You're 100% right.
100%.
100%
It was
right.
an awful bracelet. So
My girlfriend had given it to me, so it was good.
it was
good. And whatever happened to it, no one knows.
Right,
You know, okay. I later lost. But so I think that the way to really determine it, and this is, we did a poll. We restarted polls on the Young Turks just to be able to do this poll. Okay. So and it's tyt.com/poll if you wanted to. It might still be up. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Because like my sense of what the bigger victory is, who has the bigger Kurt Russell moment? So you remember in Miracle, we beat the Russians. Kurt Russell's the coach, and he goes like he gets away from everybody. This is like the thing that I've always wanted to do in my whole life, right? He gets away from everybody, goes into a hallway, and just goes, yes, yes, right? I've been looking for. I think it's in Mad as Hell, a scene where I explain. That's what I look forward like, and I still haven't had it.
Yeah.
Right. But that was
finding things. It's just the best, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is.
Especially once you've, in a sense, resigned yourself to the fact that they're gone, which both stories had. I mean, again, I watched because of this weird thing. I saw both stories, and both stories had that sense of, well, it's just gone, and I'm going to try to find it, but I'm pretty much sure I'm not going to find it. Ben's had he loses it for 2 days. He comes back to the same dog park, and then he just parks his car there, and then right as he's about to leave, he looks down, literally, and there it is.
Right.
So there's a 2 days pass. On the other hand, you did put a lot of sweat and anxiety into the whole thing. That maybe should count for something.
I think the sweat and anxiety ones count for a lot. Because the anxiety is a big part of it.
I'm rethinking this. I think you may be right.
It's okay. No, the whole country's ablaze with this conversation. And people can't stop spreading the video around. I mean, in fact, there was an alert today on all of our phones. Okay, wait, you already said that.
I already made that joke. You can't make that joke now.
You can't double joke. Everybody knows that. That's an old school rule. You can't double joke.
Is that still the same for the new old school?
Yeah, apparently.
Did I tell you that the $500 Bellagio chip, losing a $500 Bellagio chip?
Oh, there's a great story about that. Okay, hold 1 second. I'm going to go to that. Okay, so I want everybody to understand the important things we're going to discuss. Okay, a little bit later in this program, and I want to clarify the rule. You can double joke your own jokes. In fact, you can come to your own jokes again and again and again. That's actually, I think the comedians call it recall.
Callback.
Yeah. Callback. Thank you. That's what it is. Okay, but you can't go back to someone else's joke. Okay, so you can't double joke in that sense. Oh wow, the results are in. Oh my God, we had almost 1,000 votes.
Wow.
Okay, and I'm shocked by both of these things.
I'm shocked.
Okay, so first of all, 955 votes on that insane poll.
Right.
Okay, and it didn't clarify at all. If you go on there right now, tyt.com/poll, it just says who was right, who had the bigger victory. Ben finding earpiece, Cenk finding bracelet. No explanation, right? 955 votes. All right, 66%. Ben, 34% me. Craig's with me too. This room is the opposite. It's 66% me.
Yeah.
But no, the American people have spoken, and I must resign myself to this defeat. I'm going to call Ben right now and give him my concession speech.
But here, let me take it into the theoretical for a second. If it was your wife's wedding ring that you were supposed to get cleaned or fixed or something, a stone reset, and on the way to the jeweler or whatever, you lost it, and you'd resigned yourself to that to a degree because you had anxiously looked for it in this parking lot wherever. Yeah. That's the kind of anxiety you're saying that you had with the bracelet. Like, would you say it's on that level?
No.
Well, I mean, but you didn't know that kind of anxiety. This was a girlfriend gave it to you.
No, I have. Look, I'm going to be honest because that's what I do.
Yeah,
it's my trademark. That's my go-to.
You deal in honesty.
Yeah. So, nowhere near the level of anxiety of my wife's wedding ring. I mean, I mean, you've given us such an extreme example, right?
Yeah, maybe that's too extreme.
And it wasn't anxiety like, she's going to be angry or even disappointed. It was more like Nah, I mean, I really appreciated that she gave it to me, and like I feel real shitty if I don't find it, and I just want to find it. It meant something to her. She gave it to me, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's cool. And see, this emotional part was left out of the initial description when
We
you
should
and
keep
Ben
that
first.
poll going.
So I'm saying now
Open it back up.
you're winning me over with that.
My son, when he was, let's say 4, whenever you lose a tooth, right? I forget what age it is now, but around 4 or 5 years old, maybe 6, right?
Yeah, I think
Around
my
there.
daughters and sons just went through around 6, 5,
Okay,
6.
yeah.
Okay.
So he lost a tooth at school, and they wrapped it up for me. So anyway, I go to school to pick him up, and I put him in the car seat, and I put his book and the tooth on the roof of the car, and I drive off. And then later that night, I realize Owen's tooth is on the street. It's lost. I'm frantic. It's dark. It's ridiculous. But of course, I drive back towards school, retrace the route of my car. I find the book, and then I go back again, fine tooth comb, flashlight. I look everywhere for it, and there, next to some leaves, off to from where the book was, far enough away from where the book was that it didn't make any sense to me, was a little wrapped up piece of paper, and it was Owen's tooth. And at that point, I thought, oh my God, this is fantastic.
That is a great. That's
See,
a great
that's
story.
a good story. That's
That very much.
But I worked very hard for that.
Yeah, okay.
You
That's
really did
nearly
work hard
perfect.
for that.
Yeah.
It's nearly perfect because that's going to go up against Mark's great story in a second. But hold on, hold on. We're off to the races. Okay, because I've now got 8 stories.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a story about leaves that's going to haunt you. Okay, I'm not playing. It's going to be one of the more powerful stories you've ever heard. Okay. And so hold for the leaf story. Don't go anywhere. Okay. So I have a story about the tooth fairy. I have a story, and I realized when you talked about missing things, I realized, oh my God, my first memory ever is of me losing something and how deeply it affected my life. We're getting to that later.
Wow.
Okay. And if we have time, the thing that I actually wanted to start with, but now we won't get into until like an hour and 20 into the show because there's so much to talk about.
And only the members are going to hear that because the 30 minutes.
Yeah, if you're
you
not
have
a member,
to join.
you should become
join
one.
now
There's
so you
still
can
time
hear.
in the next 20 minutes.
TYT.com/join. I haven't said a word. Okay, so, but the thing I wanted to get to was your favorite job ever because there was a story about a weatherman today. And so Mark is a meteorologist, a longtime weatherman. And I wanted to, but you're also a voice actor, you're also a talk show host, you've done these things. And so I was curious what your favorite job is. I'm not as interested, Michael, but Mark, but we could.
Mine was working for Mark.
Right.
So no,
all right,
we
we'll
can
get
have
to that.
conversation later.
The
okay?
Ed Show.
Yeah. Well, Michael is on my podcast as one of his. He just does it probably for the money, but it's still great to have him there.
Yeah.
He offers political insight at the beginning of every show that he's available for. And we just went up there, and you can listen to Michael talk about the Kavanaugh thing. We disagree on the Kavanaugh outcome. And but Michael knows, all the political ins and outs. He knows where the political bodies are buried. So it's always great to have him in. So that's the show's called The Edge with Mark Thompson, and Michael's at the front of every episode.
It's fun. It's great. And you should listen.
The Edge with Mark Thompson, and we might or might not get to the Kavanaugh disagreements because I'm definitely curious what the disagreement is. But anyways, that's for much later. All right, so first important stuff, the $500 chip. Okay.
I was going to Las Vegas, so I'm getting everything together. And the last time I was in Las Vegas, I was at the Bellagio casino, and I went to the casino cage where you cash out your chips and your money, and during my trip, they gave me a $500 chip. And I thought, okay, I got to get down to the casino cage and turn that into $500. But I didn't have time, so I left Vegas with this $500 chip. So when I'm going back to Vegas, I remember to take the $500 Bellagio chips. That's worth $500 when I walk into Bellagio. So I've got the chip, go through TSA at LAX, and what is the first thing they make you take everything out of your pockets? The first thing that drops out of my pocket is this $500 chip, and it rolls like 3 feet away, and the TSA agent says, hey, you may need this, and he picks up this purple-colored $500 Bellagio chip and returns it to me. And I note, wow, Mark, hang on to this chip. I mean, this is clearly, not secured properly. Put it back in my pocket, get on the plane, go to Vegas. And I'm on that long cab queue where they say how many, and I say 1. Okay, you're on number 11, and you go down there and wait in the number 11 spot, and this cab comes up, and I get in, and this guy starts telling me, he's super chatty, this cab driver, about how he was a fighter that came from Guatemala when he was 19, and he like really trained with Freddie Roach, and he told me all this time. He was like very chatty, and I shot some Instagram stories with him. So blah, blah, blah. He drops me off at the hotel. I pay him. I go up to the room. I take all my stuff out, and I kind of unpack, and what's not there? The $500 Bellagio chip. And then I'm frantic now. I'm tearing everything apart, going through the pockets, going through them again and again and again, retracing the footsteps. It's gone. And this just in, no one's going to find a $500 chip from anywhere and return it to you. Or I don't even know where you go. When you're supposed to call Lost and Found and go, hey, did anybody turn in?
Lose it?
Yeah, I mean, come on, buddy. You know.
Except I have a story where we did that.
Where you turned in a chip? Oh yeah,
kind of. Not a chip. I'll explain.
Okay. So this is where you get into the resignation, you know, and you go, okay, I'm resigned to the fact that I'm out $500. But when you're me, you add to that like, you don't deserve money. You don't treat money with value. Of course you lost it because you would lose it anyway because you're such an S-head. So I'm self-flagellating, right, about how I don't deserve it.
You're Opus Dei.
Yeah, and then I text my girlfriend and I say, I've lost this chip. And then I say to her, I don't deserve money. I'm off and all that stuff. So she's going to meet me there 8 hours later. So I'm down playing poker, and I tell a couple of people about this story. I think, God, I just can't believe it. I feel like such an idiot. 8 hours go by. My girlfriend texts me. She says, I'm in a taxi.
No way.
And I think the cab driver has your $500 Bellagio chip.
No!
And
I did not see that coming. And they say nothing happens on Old School.
You knew when you got the detail, the trained with Freddie Roach detail, that this guy was going to come back.
So
I don't know why I didn't see it coming. It was like an uppercut out of nowhere.
When she very well played. When she arrives, she's told to go wait in spot 8 or whatever for the cabs, and some woman actually, as she's waiting in spot 8, cuts in front of her and takes the cab that she was going to get in spot 8. So she goes to the guy and goes, I don't know what just happened here, but that woman ended up in my cab. And he said, no problems, ma'am. I'll wave over another cab. And he waves over another cab. This cab pulls up. She gets in. And he's starting to take her on the freeway. And I always tell her, don't take the freeway in Las Vegas. That's how they essentially make the meter run high. And it's like adding $12 to the fare. And I drum this into her, right? Don't do it. It's a waste of money. And and it's like a scam. So she says, oh, gosh, I wish you hadn't taken the freeway. My boyfriend's going to kill me. And he said, ma'am, don't worry. I'm going to turn the meter off. He said, because High Roller was just here, and he gave me this as a tip.
Oh, now there's a great drama in this story that I sensed at the very beginning, which is he going to give it back? And
he holds up the $500 Bellagio chip. And that's when she texts me and she goes, oh my God, I think this driver has your chip, so she then.
But she didn't tell the driver.
She laughs and she said, this is so weird because my boyfriend who came in here just a few hours ago lost a $500 Bellagio chip. And then he said, oh, no. This chip was given to me a long time ago, and I showed it to my wife, and blah, blah. So he starts to backpedal, right?
Oh, no. How is this story going to end?
Right.
No one knows. I don't even think Mark knows.
And then.
Was your girlfriend a little turned on hearing you referred to as a high roller?
And then she says, I texted her, I said, is his name Juan? And is he from Guatemala? Because I remembered everything. I remembered everything.
By the way, let me just, this part I do know. His name is Juan. He's from Guatemala. There's nobody else that gave him a $500 Bellagio chip.
No, but
neither did Mark.
The detail was, the detail was important because I had all these details about him, like
And the Instagram story.
and I had the Instagram stories. So she said, "Wow," and then she said, "Yes, his name is Juan." I said, "Well, that's my chip, and it must have fallen out in his cab."
Yeah.
So she then says, "Well, you know, it's funny. He knows your name, Juan, and says to say hello, and that he was in your cab, and he
Says to say hello.
he has the whole thing on video. And when apparently at the mention of video, he kind of melted and said, I want him to, I think this is his chip. I want him to have it back. And
I want him to have it back is a little.
I mean, he was.
Wait a second. My favorite part is I've just texted with Mark and he says hi.
I don't even know.
I
I don't know if she did say that, but she indicated that she was communicating with me. But yeah. So the hi thing, I might have just I don't know. But the point, she was indicating to him that she was in touch with me and that he was just in your cab and whatever.
Yeah.
So then he goes to, I was put on this earth to, I believe in angels and guardian angels, and I think I might be his guardian angel that he left in my cab.
Juan, now you're
yeah.
thick.
But-
I mean, come
but
on.
he-
For $500, you'll take it.
But to-
He'd be like, oh yeah, you
Yeah,
are,
a guardian
bro.
angel. Oh, everybody coming
Just
down.
like, let me just have the chip,
let me
and
be-
then we'll
but
talk
to-
about guardian angel.
It's funny, to be fair to him, I just felt as though, I'm sure he was in a tough spot and he was trying to get to doing the right thing, and he did the right thing, he returned it. I could certainly see a lot of situations where a cab driver would go, hey, I don't know what your boyfriend saw, I don't know what your boyfriend shot, but I've had this chip for a long time and it's not going
100%.
anywhere.
The
You know what
best,
I mean?
the best is Juan telling the story. I had the worst day of my life. You're not going to believe this.
No, but
it's
here's-
unbelievable. A guy lost a $500, then his girlfriend, of all the people in Vegas, gets in my cab.
There are 3,500 cabs on the strip at any one time. We ran some numbers and some odds. By the way, I gave the guy $100 for returning it. I felt that was,
you're unbelievable.
No, I mean
In chip or cash?
in cash.
Wow, you're unbelievable.
I think you have to. I think just because it was so freakish and
have to.
Of
is
course.
questionable.
I think you have to. I think absolutely.
No. You have to if he immediately volunteered it. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But no, and I'm pointing
He
out
broke
that you're
quickly,
a better
though.
man than I am.
He broke pretty quickly.
Yeah, I hear you at the mention of video. You're a better man than I am. You're a better man than I am, which is good. Okay.
I think he's a good guy. If I thought he was sleazy or that he was if there was something sleazy about the guy, he was sincere. I think he thought, there's this moment, wow, but in the end, he did the right thing.
No, don't get me wrong. So there's two more parts of the Juan story, one of which has not yet been written. Okay, so hold.
Which is that he has Owen's tooth.
And that's a callback.
That's what we call a callback.
That's right. Now, you see, I can't say "and my bracelet" because that could violate the
would
double
be-
joke rule.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
But he wouldn't have wanted your bracelet.
no, apparently not. But he's like, ooh, Owen's tooth. Hey, some high roller gave this to me. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. Anyway, so here's another part of the Juan story that should make you feel sympathetic towards him, which is going to lead to the second part. At some point, miraculously, between rides, or another possibility, but hold on, he had to go to the back seat to find your $500 chip.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And he referred to it as a tip to Mark's girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Somebody said he
like,
left this for me.
somehow between you taking the cab and your girlfriend taking the cab, he did the weird thing of somehow stopping, looking in the back and getting the chip, or someone else got in and was like, whoa, there's a $500 chip
No,
here.
that one. I think that you're right, but I don't think it's a weird thing. I think it's kind of protocol. After somebody gets out of your cab or after a few rides, you go back and check.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that.
I think all night they're not checking.
Or after you've let I'm standing there paying him. I remember quite clearly. The door was open, and I'm there on the passenger side giving him money, and I must have, as I took my stuff out of my pocket, the chip dropped out onto the floor. So as he closes the door, he might look in to see the guy leave a cell phone or something like that, and he might have seen the chip on the floor.
Or he
In
takes,
which case, that's
it's
not-
more damning.
Then you shouldn't have given him the
It's
money.
more damning. It's
but
more damning.
or he takes a turn right on Flamingo a little later, and he hears this thing jingling around, and it's bothering the hell
No, you
out
don't
of
hear
him.
that. It's not going to slide
The
around.
chip
and
is not
jingle
going to
around.
jingle.
It might make a little annoying
It makes no
noise.
sense.
You're wrong.
So now the last
should be a poll.
Okay, I'm with Mark on that one. Okay,
That's
so
2-1. Craig?
Craig, do chips from Vegas casinos jingle.
They don't jingle on their own. They hit
the
plastic.
floor of a-
They hit
the cab carpeted?
That's the question.
No, it doesn't
Greg,
matter.
as always, is right.
Let's assume it's not carpeted. It's still the chip fell onto the floor of the cab
plastic
when
matting.
when I took my money out of my pocket, so it's already on the floor. How would it jingle
No, it's
around?
not when it lands. I'm talking about 15 minutes later.
Okay.
He's driving and there's this noise coming out of the back of the
But
car.
that's why
Yes,
Craig's
of
question
course.
is right. If it's padded or it's carpeted, of course it's not going to jingle. If there are some cabs, I think that it's a little bit more metal ground, but that's
No,
much
it's
more
plastic.
It
They're
really doesn't
the
yeah.
feet things, and they're.
I mean, I don't think you need the
You're wrong.
CSI team on this one. It wasn't jingling around.
I think that's how he found it. Can we call Juan Roca?
Okay, so now hold on. Did you get? Did we say his last name?
No. His name is.
Don't
he
say his
trained
last name.
with.
Okay,
No, I'm not
okay.
going to say his last name.
Okay, because the last part of the unwritten story is this is public. So people will be in Juan's cab. Somebody who watches this. All right? But whatever you do, guys, don't be mean. Don't do anything
He's a
wrong.
great guy.
Yeah, I mean,
no, he's a great guy.
No.
In fact, I wanted to have
Nobody's
him.
going to be in his cab.
I wanted to have him on the air.
Nobody's gonna be in his cab. His girlfriend was in his cab.
That's what I'm saying. It's
Everybody
already,
watching
it's
is gonna be
already,
in his cab.
No, it's
Don't you
already
get it?
happened. That's the worst
No,
thing.
it'll
that's
happen
already
again.
The unity of the universe has brought us all to Juan's cab. You get it, everybody,
That's right,
don't you?
that's right.
We're all going to experience Juan.
That's what you should change the name of the podcast to. Just call it Juan's Cab.
Juan's cab. And then everybody's in.
Yeah.
He was actually, so here's what happened.
And you lose money.
I told the story when I got home. I told the story on the radio in Los Angeles. And somebody got into Juan's cab in Vegas.
See? I
And just
told
as
you.
Jenk said.
Told you.
Referee said, hey, you're the guy. They're telling us you returned to the chip. And he was all too, and we, then he texted my girlfriend. He texted me. He's a nice guy. So
Yes.
all's well that ends well.
That's right. And so just have a little bit of fun, right? So if you're in Juan's cab and you say, hey, are you from Guatemala? Okay. Or actually, don't do that. Because he might not be, it might be the wrong Juan. And he's like, well, why do you assume I'm from Guatemala?
Why? Because my name is Juan?
Yeah. But if he says he's from Guatemala, ask him about Freddie Roach.
Yeah, ask him about boxing.
Yeah.
Freddie Roach.
Were you a boxer? He's gonna be like, wait a minute, what in the world is going on here? Oh, I got a great idea. Leave a $500 chip in there.
See what happens.
See what
Would
he
be
does.
Wild. Yeah.
Anyway, so that's a great. So
Yeah,
anyway,
that's just because the odds of it happening, she has to get the same cab. That alone makes
the
it
odds
$1
are
million
impossible.
shot.
Yeah.
That's in fact the largest win you've ever had in Vegas.
That's absolutely right. I mean, that defies. And then remember, something has to happen. So he starts talking to her and tells her about the $500 chip. Right? That's the weird thing.
That
It's
is
not
really
enough
weird.
Yeah.
just to be in the cab. So in the end, human nature is what brought he was so excited that he lifted up the chip and showed it. But-
And again, last thing on sympathy for Juan. I mean, if somebody had left a $500 chip in my cab, now remember, I can't find the guy. Even if I dropped you off at the Bellagio, how the hell am I going to find you? I don't know your name.
Right.
I don't know anything, right? I'd be super psyched too.
Sure. Of
That's
course.
$500.
That's what I'm saying. Imagine what Juan thought that
No, I'd
day.
rather he have it than most of the other people who would find it.
I cannot believe this
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
What are the chances this happened?
And the terrible irony of this is it would have been better if it had been left in Juan's cab because there's no way you didn't lose it later.
Oh,
Right. Yeah. That's
that's so true. In fact,
So the Bellagio got 400, Juan got 100.
something-
So I'm back to thank God. Juan
People
got
said, some people said, "Oh my God, you're going to have the greatest, luckiest weekend ever." Look, you're running hot. Actually,
way.
I was annihilated that weekend.
Yeah, you
I
should
mean, it
have
was-
had Juan take you to the right
exactly.
to the airport.
Get Juan over here and take me to the airport.
Yeah, because you used up all your luck.
Exactly.
On Juan.
Exactly.
Okay. He was your magic
true.
Juan.
Well, no one's going to call that one back.
Oh yeah?
Never mind. Yeah, I knew
Okay.
the moment I said it.
Yeah.
But from now on, he'll be known as Magic Juan.
From now on.
Oh, see, that's a call.
I get it.
Thank you.
All right. So one more.
One more?
Okay.
Yeah.
So that story is not going to be defeated. So we'll go through the rest of them quickly on the found stories. Okay.
Sure.
Because so you found your earpiece. What was that one?
Oh, okay. So the other day, I'm flying in the middle of the night. I connected in Indianapolis to go to DC, just to not fly into Dulles that day. And so I get to the Capitol, where I'm going to be reporting, and I realize that my chargers and my IFB earpiece are missing, the little pouch. And I was like, what possibly could have happened? I charged my phone in Indianapolis but then I put it back in. I call National Airport, I call American Airlines. They would take reports over the phone, and then I'm walking to actually get makeup because makeup was in it too, and to get powder. And I call. I'm like, oh, let me call Indianapolis Airport. I call Indianapolis Airport. Customer service answers or guest services answer. I say, hey, this is crazy, but did anybody turn anything like this in? She said, no. Where was it? I said it was gate B6. That was sort of off to the left. She said, what is that? I said, it's a black pouch. Hold on a second. I said, well, actually, can I call you back? She said, yeah, my name's Sonia. Call me in 20 minutes. So an hour goes by because I'm working and I forgot about it because, of course, they're not going to find it. I call back. Sonia's at lunch. The other lady says to me, is it a black Toomey pouch? I said, yeah, it's a black Toomey. Should we have it here? I said, can you FedEx it to me? Yeah, sure. It was just sitting on the floor at the seat, like next to her, from Indianapolis. Again, it's nothing's going to be like Mark's story.
No,
but you think that's another situation in which you think it's gone because it's just such a situation in which, I'm not going to recover.
I bought new stuff.
Yeah, I mean, similar story. I'll make it quick because it's not amazing, but then I'll get to the amazing story. So I got out out of a plane, tied my shoes, did something else. And then I walked out. It was Washington. I walked out. I got into a car, and I was like, "Oh no, my bag." Okay, I had forgotten my bag, but I had forgot where I forgot it. Right? It was
Indianapolis.
In the plane.
Did you call Indianapolis?
Hello,
Sonia.
Sonia, exactly. She's out to lunch, but we have your bag. So I'm like, is it on the plane? Is it in the bathroom? I went to the bathroom. Is it by where I tied my shoes, etc. I'm like, this is hopeless. I don't even know how to get back into the airport because I'm out. You can't go back in, etc. Right? So I went and tried to smooth talk my way back in, and they let me back in. Okay.
Wow.
Really?
And so they let me back in.
DC of all places.
Yeah. And it turns out it's a thing, and you get like a blank ticket, and you show it to security.
I see.
Okay, it's a blank ticket. I forgot something in there. You have to go through security again, of course, right? And then so I go back and it's sitting right there by the terminal. I'm like, and I had taken the train, so it could have been on any one of the trains. And I thought it's most likely on the train between the terminals.
Oh, you were at Dulles.
Yeah, Dulles. That's right. Okay, and I'm like, oh, there's no way. And I'm like trying to look on the trains. I'm like, I'm totally screwed.
Of course.
And I get back to the terminal, and it's right there, just sitting there in front of everybody. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
No, that's
my bag. I got everything in there.
Yeah,
right.
It's the best.
So on the upside, I would have lost my to-do list, and I would be like, oh, well, I guess what I'm gonna do.
I once left a bag in baggage claim. That is to say, I left with 2 bags and I forgot, I had a 3rd bag that they made me check or something in baggage claim. And it's kind of to what you were saying. Once you leave baggage claim,
you're done.
They wouldn't let me back in. I think it was an international flight, that's why. And which made it even crazier because you've got, once you've gone through passport and everything, they're not letting you back into that area. It took a supervisor, you have to plead your case, as you say, and then you have to show them all these different forms of ID, and then you send a supervisor back there and they accompany you. It was a big deal to get back into that secure area.
On the go, you can still listen to TYT on our new podcast network. Find us on Apple Podcasts, the Google Play Store, or tyt.com/podcast. I'll see you there.